edition of our esports breakdown. This is Hold the Door DFS. I'm bringing you some content tonight for our 3-game blast slate tomorrow. It kind of feels like G2 is on every single slate lately. They weren't today, but it's every other. So we get to deal with them. Pricing does seem a little bit more aggressive today, which is fine in my opinion. Actually makes people make some decisions. We saw some people punting pretty cheap on some of these slates. So it does get people past a typical build where they don't really need to go below 7K, maybe 6-8. So let's dive right in. We'll start with our odds first, and I'm on gg.bet just because it's giving me a better full picture of the slate. Bovada works as well. I just wasn't able to find one of the games. So we start out here with G2 coming in as a minus 132 favorite. Pretty close. Don't feel real confident about them sweeping or winning necessarily, just based on the recent form. But the other slight favorite here, NIP coming in as probably the biggest favorite of the slate at minus 208 against OG. Team Liquid coming in at minus 200 against Evil Geniuses. So let's hop over here. And our first game is G2 and ENTS. You'll just notice the pricing. G2 is favored, so we do have a little bit higher pricing on some of their players. If you watch my content in the past, typically, I like to target the top 3 G2 players for a lot of good reasons. And usually it's really easy to decipher like where I'm going to go just based on their prices, because I don't think their fantasy output ranges is that much different. So right here, Nexa being 7,000 compared to Hunter being 8,800 is a really easy lock and load for me right there. As a slight favorite in a highly competitive game, Nexa is super talented and has played really well. There's no reason he should be 800 less than Kenny S or 88 or 1,800 less than Hunter. I do think if you have the salary to pay for Hunter over Kenny S, just based on form, Kenny S has not been in his elite form lately, but I do think that will come back into play. We know we can't get away from some of that that regression when you know that the positive will come back. So Nexa is my favorite play from this game on either side. If I go to the end side, obviously Alu is an absolute stud and does more of the carrying for ENTS. Yampy's price is now jumped all the way back up. He was like one of the cheapest players for them on the last slate. So I think he's in play, but if you're stacking ENTS here, and you can even go down to Sergey. I don't usually get to Ariel or Sunny here, but I think the top 3 would be in play for ENTS. But like I said, by far my favorite play here from this matchup is Nexa. Let's move on to OG and NIP. Let's look at NIP, the favored side. Going to be one of the top favorites of the slate, and the pricing is very reasonable. Plopsky at 8.6K. I love it, but I think Knock at 7.8K is one of my favorite plays of this game and of the slate. I think you can definitely pair him with Plopsky. I do think this pricing is pretty appropriate. I do think Rez is clearly the third best player. Twist has obviously had some monster games recently. If you have been kind of watching, he had right here against Vitality and Astralis. He had some 4Ks. He had some huge clutch plays. So he does have that in him. And it's going to be a positive game environment for him against OG as their pretty big favorite. But I don't think that's somebody that you need to prioritize, but he's definitely a viable punt. So I think that is reasonable. If we go back here to Hampus has been pretty popular as well as a punt play, so 5,200. If you think they sweep, I think that is definitely viable. On the OG side, we have Mantu priced at 8.2K, Blade or Valid Blade at 7.4K, Issa 6.6K, and if we kind of go back and look at some of their stats, Mantu is one of their top dogs. Look at Valade is their second one with 0.67 kills per round. Nothing amazing. Issa, same kill and death per round. I don't really love those splits. And, obviously the other two I'm definitely not looking to target. So Knock has been just insane lately, 0.73 kills per round in the last 3 months. Plopsky is just right behind him with 0.72. Hampus is still at that negative ratio here. Rez is slightly under, but Twist has brought himself back to kind of an even kill to death ratio, and that's just based on his recent performance. So, like I said, Knock and Plopsky are my favorite two from NIP. I'm not really targeting anybody from OG and Cash. Let's go to EG and Team Liquid. Let's go to the Team Liquid side first here because they are favored. They're about a minus 200 favorite. Elige is, obviously always one of the first players that you consider when you're playing Team Liquid. And he does have that upside to have like just a massive game. I just don't think he has as consistent of a floor as guys like Zywoo and Simple. So I think he's definitely viable and in play. But I would force the $9,000 price tag if it's not something you feel comfortable with. I would rather pay $9K for him than $8,800 for Hunter. But I would rather probably pay, if I don't need, if it's forcing me to punt really low in cash, I can get away here with playing Naf and Twist and feeling really comfortable with that as well. Twist always seems to come in underpriced, in my opinion. He shouldn't be that much cheaper than Naf. Naf is a good play as well here at 8K. So, I mean, if you're just starting out your lineup with these three guys, I think those 3 point per dollar players are some of the best plays on the slate. And then, if you want to pair them up with some of the other studs on those teams and using someone like Plopsky and Elige, then you need to find a spot to punt. Or you go cheaper at captain with somebody like Nexa, and then that is going to give you more options to potentially pay up higher for that last spot. You likely still wouldn't be able to get to somebody like if you used Elige and Plopsky, I mean, you're still looking at 6.9K, so you're still going to have to punt somewhere up here. Obviously, you do not need to play Plopsky and Elige in cash, but I do think you probably want at least 2 NIP, probably 2 Team Liquid, and then if you feel really strong about G2, you can play 2 from them too and go a 2-2-2 stack. If you feel really strongly about NIP and TL, then you can just do a 3-3 stack as well. EG is definitely in play too, and GPPs, I really like them actually, because Team Liquid has been a team known to just get like swept completely and like acted like they never even were attempting to win the match. So Breeze at 8.2K. Cirque has been amazing lately, so I love Cirque at 7.4K. And Ethan too has been playing really well. So Ethan's a really nice punt at 6.6K. Now, if I'm going to play 3 Team Liquid, definitely don't consider playing an EG. If you want to do a 2-1 stack in this last game, that's fine. But just do know long-term that it's usually negative expected value when you are trying to correlate against your team. There's just not that many instances that it's really hard to predict like an overtime matchup or something that stays super competitive for all 3 maps that all the players would succeed at a high level. It's just not that likely. So that's where you always kind of want to take a stand on a matchup and then build that way. And then in GPPs or in another entry, if you're only playing GPP, you just leverage that. You stick with your first favorite stack and then just take the opposite side of that. Now you're not going to, both of them aren't going to win or cash probably. One will and one won't, but as long as your other stack hits. But I think that's kind of a way that you can attack CSGO in GPPs is obviously taking some of those underdogs and pairing them with your favorite stack. So that's all we got tonight. Hopefully that will give you the building blocks that you need to start your cash lineups or your just optimal builds if you're playing single entry or even 3 max. I did see that we got some better tournaments for tomorrow. So that's really good to see that kind of jumping back. If you have not gotten a chance to subscribe to our channel, please do that. Hit the like button down below. That helps us out a ton, trying to continue to push out this free content. We have amazing soccer content coming out from Gator Guy. We will continue. We will have a Call of Duty breakdown this week. I will have an AFL showdown preview for Thursday morning. Thursday morning. So we'll have that out as well. So just be on the lookout for anything and everything related to DFS right at FSI. We can give you everything you need. We still have a lot of things that we're running for free. But once we get these sports ramped up, you are going to see tennis content on here. You're going to see a lot of NFL content, NBA, WNBA. So subscribe so you're ready to hear and see those things right away. Again, this is Hold the Door DFS. Hop over to fsidfs.com, join our Discord channel, hit me up, and we will get you locked in esports. Have a good one.